Hi guys, it's Nicole. Well, I went out today and all by myself, which is very cool because I have agoraphobia, so going out is not fun. But I went to two places. I went to Amethyst Creations here in Vancouver, which is a store where you can get semi-precious gems and all kinds of stuff, either rough hewn or specifically targeted to making jewelry. Well, I bought a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, that's not unwrapped, but gorgeous, like a lapis lazuli, a big piece of amber. Gorgeous. It's shaped like a little wand, which is perfect. And then my very first crystal ball. It is gorgeous. I know you can't tell, but it's got only that one occlusion that you see there. So depending on how you turn it, sometimes you don't see it at all, and then it's just gorgeous. I love it. The guy at Amethyst Creations had saved it for himself, he said, but he did sell it to me, and I thanked him very muchly for it because it is gorgeous. And then I went to Michael. Now, I didn't get a lot of uh, yarn at Michael's because I tend to buy a lot of yarn online because the Michaels, uh, which normally their selection is really, really good, but I have very specific yarns that I use that unfortunately they don't carry, so I order those online. I did get a little bit to make a purse um, that I found the pattern to, which I will show you when I start it, probably. And the rest is all cutting mats and rulers to start making my own um, quilts. That is something that I always wanted to get into since I was a little girl. I used to hand quilt with my mom when I was a little girl. She only did it a few times that I remember, but she'd set up a quilt frame in our dining room area in our house, and she'd hand quilt it, and I loved doing that. Unfortunately, hand quilting I'm not so sure about because I don't have a frame for hand quilting here. I have one of those humongous ancient ones back home that I inherited from my grandmother, which I do hope my parents don't throw away because someday I'd like to have it sent out to me if I ever have an apartment big enough for it. But this particular frame, I would have to basically move onto my balcony and throw away everything in my living room to fit the frame. That's how big this thing is. But with the new frames that I've seen online, at Joann's and Mary Maxim's, they have the very cool ones that you can make, you know, pretty small and then a little bit bigger and the full size. So that's a future purchase when I really start getting into, when I've got a top assembled at least, that when it comes time to actually quilting it. Now my brand new sewing machine will do machine quilting, but once I make an actual full quilt, I I would really love to do it by hand, but for small wall hangings or baby quilts, I might just do it with the machine. Now, you can imagine all the different rulers that you need for that. You've seen them probably on some sewing shows, and if you watch Crafty Gemini on here, she has a lot of those. That's what I bought basically, and a frame for hand embroidery. It's one of those that goes, well, just a minute. Yeah, you see the picture? It's a floor frame that goes, pretty high up, but this part here actually rotates so that you can get to the back of your work. So a lot of the hand embroidery, like the tambour and what's the other one? Tambour and oh, whatever. You know the ones that I mean, the tambour, and the other one's pretty similar to that. Um, they require you to work both sides of your fabric, so you do have to be able to get to the back of the fabric when you're hand embroidering. So that's why I wanted this particular frame, because the scroll frames that I bought will be able to get clipped in this here, and then once it's all clipped in, I can, swivel it up and down to access the back, which is great. I highly recommend this little gadget. They have it at Michael's. It's pretty reasonable price, and it's definitely worth it, especially if you're going to be doing hand embroidery. Now, if you're just doing normal cross stitches, it's not quite so important because obviously it's just cross stitching. If you have some problems with mobility though, this is perfect for you because you don't, you only have to use the one hand to do your embroidery work, and then you can tilt the frame to be able to access the back when you're finishing off or starting a stitch with a new color. So I highly recommend this from Michaels. Perfect. It's a loops and thread stitchery. Adjustable craft stand. It's perfect. Now, like I said, the rest is cutting mats and rulers for quilting rulers, because I didn't have any. I have all my rulers from when I did costume studies to make clothes, like the curves and all that. I do have to get a new T-bar though, because unfortunately mine got warped. The little one seems to be okay, but the big one, eesh, bad. So I'll be getting a new one of that soon. That won't be too expensive. Uh, I've ordered a ton of stuff online, and as it comes in, I will put in a little blurb about what I get. Now, there's certain companies that I will be recommending, obviously, because I love them. Now, I want you to understand that I'm not getting paid for any company that I recommend, and because I'm still new to YouTube. But I recommend them because I believe in them. There is Milky Farms, I believe it's called Milky Fiber Arts. Um, I've ordered a ton of stuff from there since I started doing the bobbin lacing, and I needed some advice obviously in the beginning because I didn't know what to buy, and so I called and they gave me tons of advice, really good advice on what to buy because I was simply just starting out and everything, which would be the best for my purposes. They were fantastic. I highly recommend them. And now today, just today, I bought some a drop spindle and some weaving weaving sticks. Can't remember what they're called exactly. From a company called Finnywig Farm, Finnywig Studios. Sorry. Um, yeah, Finnywig Studio. I loved the idea of getting it from here because one, the price is super reasonable, delivery super reasonable, and the guy that runs the company, I spoke to his wife, but the guy who runs the company actually makes this stuff. So you have to be prepared in case he's out of one piece to give him time to make what you order. But when you know that you're getting the exactly what you want and you know it's going to be handmade, it's well worth it. I highly recommend these people. Price is super reasonable. My next purchase from them is going to be card weaving assembly. I wasn't too excited about doing that today because I'm putting off starting to weave for a couple months because I've had to purchase so much stuff for the sewing. Um, but I highly recommend them also. They're fantastic. I called on a Sunday morning and they still talked to me. It was fantastic. Um, so, like I said, in the next few weeks, there will be tons of stuff coming on the internet, from the internet. So as it comes in, I'll let you know what's going on. I've ordered a ton of soaps from Future Primitive and Missouri Soaps. So as I test, when those come in, I'll show them to you. And as I use them, I'll tell you what's going on and stuff. So that's about it for tonight. If you have any questions, feel free. Anyway, as they say back home, à la prochaine, which basically means till next time. Bye.